I couldn't feel my fingers anymore. The basement's temperature display showed 34 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'd been trapped here for what felt like forever. My stepbrother Derek's laughter still echoed in my ears. Enjoy your time out, Maya. Maybe this will teach you to keep your mouth shut about what you saw. I'm Maya Chin, 22, and I never thought I'd die in my own house's basement. But as I huddled in the corner, wearing only thin pajamas, I realized death by hypothermia was becoming a real possibility. It started when I caught Derek selling prescription medications to high school kids. He'd been stealing them from our mother's pharmacy, where he worked part-time. When I confronted him, his usually smirking face turned dark. "You're home early," he said yesterday, blocking my path to the basement door. I'd gone down to get some frozen groceries from our deep freezer. "Derek, move," I said, trying to sound braver than I felt. At 6'2", my 25-year-old stepbrother towered over me. His smile was cold. "You know, Maya, you really should learn to mind your own business." Before I could react, he shoved me hard. I stumbled backward, falling down the last few steps. The basement door slammed shut, followed by the distinctive click of our old-fashioned lock. "Derek, let me out," I screamed, pounding on the door. "The temperature control is broken down here." "I know," he called back, laughing. "Dad's been meaning to fix it for weeks. Guess you'll have to wait until tomorrow when he gets home from his business trip. Mom will notice I'm missing," I shouted, already feeling the cold seeping through my thin clothes. "Mom's working a double shift at the pharmacy. I told her you're staying at Emma's house tonight. Sweet dreams, sis." That was 18 hours ago. My phone was upstairs charging. The basement had no windows, and the old heating system had malfunctioned weeks ago, turning this space into a virtual freezer. Dad was away on business, and Mom always believed Derek's lies. I drifted in and out of consciousness, my thoughts becoming sluggish. The emergency light cast strange shadows on the walls. Sometime during what I assumed was morning, I heard movement upstairs. "Mom." I tried to shout, but my voice was weak. "Mom, help." The basement door opened and Derek's face appeared. "Ready to promise you'll keep your mouth shut?" "Please," I whispered. "I can't feel my legs." "Drama queen," he scoffed, but something in my appearance made him pause. "Fine, but if you tell anyone about the pharmacy." "Maya?" Mom's voice came from upstairs. "Why is your car still here? I thought you were at Emma's." Derek's face hardened. He slammed the door again, and I heard him talking to Mom upstairs. "Oh, she came back early but went for a walk. You know how moody she gets. Said something about needing air." The next time I opened my eyes, I was being lifted onto a stretcher. Paramedics swarmed around me, their voices urgent but distant. Core temperature 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Severe hypothermia. How long was she down there? "Found her during a wellness check," a police officer was saying. Her friend Emma called when she didn't show up for their lunch date and wouldn't answer her phone. The emergency room was a blur of warming blankets and IV fluids. Dr. Martinez, a stern-faced woman with kind eyes, kept checking my vitals personally. "Maya," she said gently, "your body temperature was dangerously low. Any longer in that basement, and we'd be having a very different conversation. Can you tell me what happened?" She locked herself in. My mother interrupted, rushing into the room. "Maya, why would you do something so foolish? Derek told me you've been acting strange lately." Dr. Martinez's expression shifted subtly. "Mrs. Taylor, please wait outside. I need to examine your daughter." Once Mom left, Dr. Martinez leaned closer. "Maya, the police found something interesting on your father's security cameras. He had them installed last month after some tools went missing. They cover the basement door." My heart skipped. There's footage." She nodded. "The cameras caught everything. Derek pushing you, locking the door, your mother coming home. 18 hours of footage. Officer Collins is reviewing it now." Tears rolled down my cheeks. Mom won't believe it. She never believes anything bad about Derek. "She won't have a choice this time," a new voice said. A female police officer entered, her badge reading Collins. "We also found interesting footage from your mother's pharmacy. Your stepbrother has been quite busy. He's been stealing prescription drugs," I whispered, "selling them to kids. That's why he locked me down there. I found out." Officer Collins nodded grimly. "We know. One of his customers ended up in this same ER last week. Nearly died. That case led us to the pharmacy, but we couldn't prove who was supplying the drugs. Until now. Dr. Martinez checked my IV. You're staying here for observation. We've restricted your visitors, family included. Officer Collins needs your full statement when you're stronger. My mom, I started, is being questioned by my partner. Officer Collins finished. The security footage shows her coming home while you were trapped. She clearly heard you calling for help but let Derek convince her nothing was wrong. That makes her an accessory. For the first time since this nightmare began, I felt something other than cold. I felt vindicated. Rest, Dr. Martinez said, adjusting my warming blankets. You're safe now. We've got cameras in this room too, and security outside your door. Derek won't get anywhere near you. As they left, I heard Officer Collins say quietly to Dr. Martinez. The footage shows him checking the basement temperature before locking her in. He knew exactly what he was doing. This wasn't a prank. It was attempted murder. I closed my eyes, finally feeling warm again, knowing that the truth, like the security cameras, had been silently watching all along. The next morning, my hospital room became a hub of police activity. Detective Sarah Collins had brought in a laptop showing me carefully selected portions of the security footage. We need you to confirm some timestamps, she said gently. I know this is difficult, but it's important. The footage was crystal clear. Derek checking the basement temperature display, smirking at the camera he hadn't known was there. The 18 hours compressed into a horrifying highlight reel, me pounding on the door, gradually becoming weaker, eventually huddling in a corner as my body slowly shut down. But the most damning footage showed my mother's actions. Listen to this audio, Detective Collins said softly, turning up the volume. Mom, please, my faint voice called from the basement. Derek, I thought I heard something, my mother said on screen. It's just the old house settling, Carol. Maya's fine, probably taking selfies in the park or something. You know how she loves attention. My mother paused, clearly hearing my weak cries, then simply walked away. Your mother is facing serious charges, Detective Collins explained. Child endangerment, criminal negligence, accessory after the fact. The pharmacy investigation has also revealed she knew about the missing medications but covered for Derek. I felt numb, but not from hypothermia this time. She really never cared, did she? Sometimes the people who should protect us are the ones we need protection from, a new voice said. Dr. Martinez entered, carrying my latest test results. Your core temperature is finally stable, but we found something else concerning in your blood work. She shared a look with Detective Collins before continuing. There were traces of sedatives in your system. Low doses, but they've been administered regularly over the past few months. What? I felt my world tilt again. How? Derek had access to your food and drinks when you were home, Detective Collins explained. We found a stash of crushed pills in his room. He's been dosing you, probably to make you seem unstable when you try to report his behavior. The pieces started falling into place. My recent clumsiness, the constant fatigue, how no one believed me when I complained about Derek, because I seemed confused all the time. Your father's here, Dr. Martinez said softly. He flew back as soon as he heard. Would you like to see him? I nodded, though anxiety churned in my stomach. My father had always been distant, buried in his work, leaving me to deal with Derek and my mother alone. When he walked in, he looked 10 years older than when he left for his business trip. Maya, he whispered, I'm so sorry. I had those cameras installed because I suspected Derek was stealing, but I never imagined. Why didn't you check the footage earlier? I asked, the question that had been burning inside me. The system was set to archive footage weekly. I was waiting to review it all at once. His voice broke. If I had checked sooner. Detective Collins interrupted gently. Mr. Taylor, we need to discuss the pharmacy investigation. Your wife's involvement is more extensive than we initially thought. As they stepped out, Dr. Martinez adjusted my medications. You have visitors in the waiting room, your real friends. Emma's been here since yesterday, and half your graduate program showed up this morning. Would you like to see them? For the first time, I smiled. Yes, please. Emma burst in first, her face streaked with tears. Maya, I knew something was wrong when you missed lunch. You never miss our Wednesday lunches. When I called your house and Derek answered, saying you were taking a walk in freezing weather. You saved my life, I said, squeezing her hand. The police found his journal, Emma said quietly. He had it all planned. the sedatives, making you seem unstable, the basement. He was going to claim you had another episode and locked yourself in. Dr. Martinez checked my IV again. But he didn't count on three things: Emma's persistence, your father's cameras, and most importantly, his own arrogance. He looked right at the camera and smiled. Maya, that footage alone is enough for attempted murder charges. A police officer appeared at the door. Doctor, Detective Collins needs you. They're about to interview Mrs. Taylor about the pharmacy theft ring. Given the medical aspects, Dr. Martinez nodded. Maya, rest. Emma can stay. You're still under protective custody. No one gets in this room without clearance. As they left, Emma squeezed my hand again. Your dad's selling the house. He's already looking at apartments near campus for you. Everything's changing so fast, I whispered. For the better, Emma insisted. No more Derek. No more Carol making you think you're crazy. No more unexplained accidents. You're free. My phone lit up with a news alert. Local pharmacy worker arrested in drug distribution ring. Mother and son in custody. Emma read it over my shoulder. They can't hurt you anymore, Maya. It's over. I leaned back against my pillows, feeling truly warm for the first time in years. The basement's cold had been terrible, but it was nothing compared to the chill of living with people who were supposed to love you but instead plotted your destruction. It's not over, I said quietly. It's just beginning. 6 months later, I sat in a courtroom, watching as Derek and my mother faced sentencing. The trial had revealed a darkness deeper than even I had known. Dozens of teens affected by the pharmacy drug ring, years of calculated abuse, and a mother who had actively helped cover it all up. In light of the premeditated nature of the attempted murder, the judge declared, her voice firm, and the extensive evidence of long-term drug trafficking, this court sentences Derek Taylor to 25 years in state prison. Derek's face, once always twisted in a smirk, crumpled. He looked small now, nothing like the towering figure who had terrorized me for years. As for Carol Taylor, the judge continued, given your role in both the drug distribution and the attempted murder of your stepdaughter, this court sentences you to 15 years. My mother didn't look at me. She hadn't once during the entire trial. You okay? Emma whispered beside me. She hadn't left my side through any of this. I nodded, feeling lighter somehow. Dr. Martinez, sitting on my other side, patted my hand. She had testified extensively about the hypothermia, the sedatives, the long-term medical evidence of abuse. Her testimony had been crucial in securing the convictions. Outside the courthouse, my father waited with Detective Collins. He'd become a different person since that day, present, protective, the father I needed all along. The house sold, he told me quietly. I've set up a trust for you with the proceeds, for your graduate studies or whatever you choose to do next. Actually, I said, I've made a decision about that. I pulled out a letter I'd received last week. Remember how the police found other victims? Kids Derek sold drugs to, people Mom helped him manipulate. Detective Collins nodded. 17 confirmed cases. I've been accepted into a counseling psychology program, I explained. I want to help people who've been through similar experiences. Dr. Martinez connected me with a trauma specialist who's willing to mentor me. My father's eyes welled up. Maya, that's wonderful. There's more, Dr. Martinez added, smiling. Tell them about the foundation. I took a deep breath. Emma and I are starting a nonprofit for victims of family abuse and drug exploitation. We're calling it Basement Lights because sometimes you need someone to shine a light into the dark places families try to hide. Detective Collins broke into a rare smile. The department would be happy to partner with you. We see too many cases where families cover up abuse, where victims don't have support systems. Later that evening, we gathered at my new apartment. Emma, my father, Dr. Martinez, Detective Collins, and several survivors who'd come forward during the trial. The space was warm, filled with light and people who genuinely cared. I have something to show you, Detective Collins said, pulling out her tablet. Remember those security cameras your father installed? The companies agreed to donate monitoring systems to at-risk families. They'll be connected directly to emergency services. We're calling it the Maya Protocol, my father added softly. I felt tears prick my eyes, but these were different from the ones I'd shed in that cold basement. These were tears of healing, of hope. My phone buzzed. A message from one of Derek's former victims. Just heard about Basement Lights. How can I help? Emma said, reading over my shoulder. When Derek locked you in that basement, he thought he was silencing you. Instead, he gave a voice to everyone he'd hurt. Dr. Martinez raised her glass of sparkling cider, to turning darkness into light. As everyone echoed the toast, I looked around at these people who had become my real family. The cold of the basement felt like a distant memory now, replaced by the warmth of purpose and genuine connection. Later, after everyone had left, my father lingered. I keep thinking about all the signs I miss, he said quietly. The cameras I installed too late, the changes in you I didn't question. Dad, I interrupted gently, we can't change the past, but we can help change the future for someone else. He hugged me, something that had once been rare but was becoming beautifully common. When did you get so wise? Somewhere between hypothermia and healing, I smiled. That night, I stood on my balcony, breathing in the warm summer air. My phone was full of messages, from survivors seeking help, from professionals offering support for the foundation, from people wanting to share their own stories of family darkness. Emma had texted, "Remember what you said in your victim impact statement? Sometimes the deepest freezes lead to the warmest thaws." You were right. She was right too. What started with security cameras and a concerned friend had grown into something powerful. The basement hadn't broken me, it had revealed my strength, not just to others but to myself. And now that strength would help light the way for others still trapped in their own dark places. Because sometimes the best way out of darkness is to become the light you needed when you were lost in it.